Morning, everyone. My name is Marco Rock. I'm the president and CEO of Cassiar Gold. Cassiar Gold, we are a Canadian gold explorer. I'll just like to bring your attention to the disclaimer and forward-looking statements that I will be making today. So very quickly, Cassiar Gold, we are focused on our flagship asset in northern BC, the Cassiar Gold Project. We already have a substantial resource there, 1.4 million ounce resource at 1.14 grams per ton, right at surface, and open effectively in all directions, laterally in the depth, with a lot of room to grow internally as well. In addition to that, we also have some high-grade past-producing veins, 10 to 20 to 30 gram per ton material at the Cassiar South vein system. So a lot of exploration potential in our 59,000 hectare land package, which is at 100% owned. Something that really sets us apart as well is the fact that we already have existing infrastructure. We are a brownfield project. This comes with mine permits that puts us years and years ahead in permitting timelines. It comes with highway access. We have Highway 37 bisecting our property. In fact, you can drive from Vancouver all the way to the top of that 1.4 million ounce resource without ever leaving a paved road. We have a fully owned and permitted 300 ton per day mill on site. We have 160 kilometers of property access roads. We have 25 kilometers of underground workings connecting all the infrastructure at surface to the veins that we have underground, as well as access to power. So it really puts us in a very unique position. We truly have a world-class leadership team to go along with it, from our board to our management to the team on the ground. It's a really well-rounded team that has experience and success in producing companies, in building mines, in exploration, in finding big deposits, you name it. So we're very, very lucky. Not only we have a great asset, we have a great team to go along with it. We are very committed to develop our project in a sustainable way. The communities where we operate are very important to us, and we're very lucky with the great relationship we have built so far. And then last but not least, we're very attractively valued. For what we have, our market cap is just under 50 million Canadian, and we were just completed last year our largest drill campaign to date, 23,000 meters, most of it expansionary, and we've only released less than 8,000 meters so far, so a lot of news flow coming out. So what we have over the next couple of months, roughly 15,000 meters, 45 drill holes coming out, and it will be very, very exciting, so do stay tuned for that. Just very quickly to give you the lay of the land, as I was mentioning, the Cassiar Gold Project is located in northern BC, right along the main highway that goes into the north there. We're roughly 100 kilometers south from the Yukon BC border, 200 kilometers north of the Red Chris mine, which is majority owned by Newcrest. We also have a secondary project called Sheep Creek. Although 100% of our focus is at Cassiar Gold Project, Sheep Creek is extremely prospective. Until 1951, it produced nearly 750,000 ounces at nearly 16 grams per ton. So very, very high grade. And almost no work has been done there since, so it's extremely, extremely prospective. But as I said, 100% of our focus is at the Cassiar Gold Project. This is I won't go into each of the details for our team. As I mentioned, we have a really well-rounded team. You know, from Steve, his experience running IAMGOLD, Steve Robertson. He was a geo at Imperial Metals. He was in charge of permitting and development at Red Chris. You got him the Schultz Award for Excellence in Mine Development. We have a mining engineer on our board, Chris Seward, who's running Minto Metals in the Yukon. We also have James Maxwell on our board. He was the exploration director for Sabina Gold and Silver. They've defined basically over 10 million ounces in the Arctic Circle, and he's now the VP for First Mining Gold. And since a year ago, we also have Vern Sheen as our VP of Exploration. His expertise is really taking advanced deposits, finding the edges of the deposits, eventually taking to economic studies, and eventually to production, which is really the expertise that we were looking for. And we're also well supported by David Rees and Doug Kerwin as our technical advisory team. Very quickly, in terms of our cap structure, we have 82 million shares outstanding. We have very good insider ownership, over 8%, over 21% institutional shareholder names. There's just a few of the names that we have on our share registry, from Sprott to EMA to Murnican, Terra Capital out of Australia, Commodity Discovery Fund out of Europe, you name it. There's a few more. I just don't have the time to tell all of them. Maybe zooming into our project, our flagship project, it's 59,000 hectares of opportunity, 100% owned. It's a land package that is 25 kilometers by 27 kilometers. It's bisected by Highway 37 that comes from the south from Red Chris, separates our property in half, separating north of the highway Cassiar North, south of the highway Cassiar South. North of the highway, for the most part, is bulk tonnage near surface open pitable targets, like our Taurus deposit, which holds a 1.4 million ounce resource. South of the highway is the Cassiar South area, which for the most part comprises these high-grade underground vein systems, where most of the 315,000 ounces of historical production at nearly 15 grams per ton came from. And this is where we have the fully owned and permitted mill, and also we have the 25 kilometers of underground workings connecting all the infrastructure that we had at surface to these underground veins. Just very quickly in terms of infrastructure, this is really something that set us apart as a company, especially in these inflationary environments. The replacement value of this infrastructure is probably worth hundreds of millions of dollars. We have dozens of kilometers of paved roads on our project, 160 kilometers of property access roads, a fully owned and permitted 300 ton per day mill, 25 kilometers of underground workings, access to power. We have several tailings facilities. We have an airstrip next to our project. So it really doesn't get better than this in terms of infrastructure. In addition to that, we also have mine permits. These mine permits puts us years and years ahead in permitting timelines. So we have mine permits covering the Taurus deposit there in green, and in orange, or that's sort of the orange, in the south, we have the Cassiar South permits that cover the area around these high-grade underground veins and all the infrastructure that supports it. And you can also see our fully owned and permitted mill, 300 ton per day, right on site. And the recoveries there, by the way, were 93%, mostly in the 80s and 90s. So we're hopeful there's some upside to that recovery coming from these high-grade underground veins. Maybe now zooming into our Taurus deposit, kind of our foundational resource. As I mentioned, 1.4 million ounces at 1.14 grams per ton, right at surface. Overburden there is on average 10 meters. And it's an ore body that's 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer, where within 150 meters from surface, you can find 90% of those ounces. That deposit is wide open, laterally in all directions, in a depth. In addition to that, you can see maybe some gaps there. It looks like there's some gaps in mineralization. It doesn't mean it's not necessarily mineralized. It's just that we haven't drilled those areas now. In fact, last year we've been drilling some of those areas, and we've been drilling quite successfully. Just a couple of weeks ago, we intercepted 98 meters at 1.28 grams per ton right from surface in one of these gaps, and we continue to do so. So a lot to look out for internal to the pit shell as well as external to the pit shell. This is some of the drilling that we've done last year. So as I mentioned, we drilled 23,000 meters. You can see, if you look to the right, to the east, you can see, well, first of all, the resource is a pink area, and we already released some drill results 700 meters to the east. As a reminder, there's a 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer resource right now. We extended mineralization 700 meters to the east, next to the East Taurus mine, where some historical production came from. Actually, this project has produced 35,000 ounces at the average recovery rate of around 80% from that area. So that's a very good indication in terms of metallurgical recovery. We've been doing infill in those gaps within the pit shell, and we've also been stepping out. So it's been a very, very successful drill campaign so far. And as I mentioned, we still have 15,000 meters to release. We also have some outside targets that are very exciting. So they are like some like Taurus lookalike. We have Wings Canyon, which is just 600 meters, 700 meters to the southeast of Taurus. You can see that pictured there on the bottom left, these beautiful quartz veins right at surface. We have some drilling there. This is outside of the resource, but we intercepted 128 meters and a half at 0.55 grams per ton from surface. It really demonstrates the potential for continuous bulk-tonnage mineralization. We also have Lucky. Lucky is 4 kilometers to the northwest of Taurus. You can see the beautiful, subcropping veins there, the picture in the middle. And we have some very anomalous grab samples, over 150 grams per ton, over 300 grams per ton. And we also have Snow Creek, which is 3 kilometers to the northeast of Taurus, a long strike. We are very, very bullish that we can find satellite deposits that could be similar size of Taurus. Taurus keeps on growing, but we might have a few other Tauri or Tauruses, depending on how you say it, the plural of Taurus. So we're confident we're going to be finding more of those, or potentially the whole system might be connecting, in which case it's truly a monster, but we need to get the drill rig out there and see how big this gets. As I mentioned, we also have these Cassiar South underground veins. We have 25 kilometers of underground workings there. We have a fully owned and permitted mill on site that's especially well designed for this type of material. As I mentioned, 315,000 ounces were produced as a reported recovery grade of 16 grams per ton. So very, very exciting. We've been drilling, we drilled 7,000 meters there last year. We still haven't released any results, but the previous campaign, we had a couple of really nice intercepts. 4.8 meters at 35 grams per ton, 6.4 meters at 12.6 grams per ton. Very, very high grade. These intercepts are very close, in the 100 meters away from underground working. So very, very close to the infrastructure. So very, very exciting. So we can expect more from that. So just to wrap it up, we have a significant resource at Taurus, which is growing. We have very high-grade mineralization at Cassiar South that we're growing, extending, and expanding. We're also looking for more Taurus-style mineralization. We have potential for more bulk-tonnage deposits that might even be part of Taurus. We are looking for more high-grade veins as well. We have all of this infrastructure that puts us hundreds of millions of dollars and years ahead in development costs, as well as with the permits, in permitting timelines. We have a great team with a right approach, with a sustainable approach, with a social license to operate, and very attractively valued. So please have a look. If you have any questions, please reach out. You can find us at www.cassiargold.com. Our ticker is GLDC on the Toronto Stock Exchange and CGLCF on the OTCQX in the US. Thank you so much.